Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks for joining. Okay, Halloween, it was an experience. What can I say? We've got to make some changes. We really and truly do. We had a great time. It was a big success. However, we've got to make changes. Let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
So, okay, we've got to make some changes. Now, before we get started, big thanks out to Wolfpack, Lucifer, and Wolfpack Group, Lucifer Bar, Noli, the manager, and all of his staff. Big thanks out to Eddie Wow, all right, Keith, Gambling Mike, Phil, all of our other people that came in to help. We really appreciate it. But let me tell you, we've got to make some changes. Hundreds and hundreds of kids, all right? And we've got to begin to get this organized. What turned out, we started doing this years ago, and it has grown into a massive cluster. I mean, it really and truly has. We arrived early. You can't take a trike straight down Walking Street. You can't do that. We have to get dropped off either in front of Walking Street or beside Walking Street, up at the original entrance, or over by Tequila Reef. Those are the two options for us, okay? We dropped off over by Tequila Reef before we got 20 feet into the short 150-foot 200-foot walk to Lucifer. We were already getting mobbed. People recognized us. People saw who we were. The kids knew it. All right, they saw us carrying all these bags of candy and everything else. And Arlen did a great job of reconstituting and putting this into a way to travel. I was amazed she fit as much as she did into what she did and made it easy enough for us to do it. So, as you can see, though, look at the kids. This is an event we do for the kids. And unfortunately, even so, adults get involved. It's free. It's free stuff. And in the Philippines, free is free. Now, keep an eye on the bag itself. And then look at the little hands. You may see a future pickpocket right there, man. They were quick to just sneak in there and do it. What you don't see is the crowd around us. It was like you got swarmed. We could not move. We're going to have to change things next year. I said this last year. We kind of took it with a grain of salt, I guess is the best word for it. But it's got to be done. Next year, we've got to make some changes. We've got to either find a way to control the kids or move the location to where we can control the kids. This location, it has no way of posting up a physical stoppage. The security guards did as good as they could, the girls, the guys, everybody else. But look at this. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids out there. And we get candy out to almost all of them. We get out candy to all that we can. We don't care if they've got a costume, if they don't have a costume. All right. We don't care. Now, we get a little bit difficult. There's no rhyme or reason. And I guess what I'm going to say is, and this should not come across poorly, I hope, but the point here is that yes, we understand that it's free, and we understand it's treats that they wouldn't normally get. There's Eddie Wow and Keith and Gambling Mike's out in there, and Noli, and I mean, and I'm over there throwing stuff out because we have to kind of, first you give it, you got to give it to the kids up front, and then there's kids that just can't get up front. I think I was throwing some to the tourist police too, so they'd have a little snack. Either way, my point with all of this is that it's very rude. In our opinion, as to what we're used to. In the U.S., we're used to kids, even as a group, 5, 6, 7, 8, ring the doorbell and wait one by one for you to hand them candy. Here, it is a free-for-all. It is a hard press. It is everything that you don't want. And to be honest, now I think we have to start to worry about whether some kid's going to get hurt with this type of presence. So I think we're going to have to try and control it a different way to where, because the crowd is going to participate in this no matter what. It doesn't matter, adults or kids, they're going to participate no matter what. With that being said, we need to keep the kid crush, all right, to a minimum. We've got to become more responsible. We know we need to do that. We're going to do that. I have a couple of ideas, and we're going to have to go to some powers that be to get permission to do something for next Halloween. It's just that simple. We may actually have to move this to a different location on Walking Street in order to better control what happens with the kids. You've got to be conscious and careful of it. Now, you also have to be conscious and careful of all your personal belongings. If you're out there in any of these events and you're walking out there, you are a prime target to get pickpocketed, to get stolen from. That's the truth. It's the honest truth. Make sure you come prepared to guard your items. You can see the same kids, they cycle back and forth, they do everything, but deep enough, they're literally, look at it, I'm pitching all the way across the street. All the way across the street. Now later, masquerades that start pitching candy off the top of their rooftop for a little bit. But we did this, and we went through a lot of candy. I'm not going to go into how much. It's a lot. Eddie Wow pretty much doubled the amount of candy that we brought as well. So we had what we had, what Eddie had. He's such a generous guy. Gambling Mike showed up, Keith. All right, Phil brought candy, other people. We ran into a subscriber, I think it's Joe, and his wife, his daughter, Faith. His daughter's actually an adult. Very interesting people. They brought candy as well. Next year, we're going to do things differently, okay? If you're familiar with Walking Street, if you're familiar with everything down there, and you have suggestions, put it in the comments below. Join one of our live streams and tell us what your thoughts are as to how we can do things a different way. There are differences. We know what we cannot do. We cannot throw from Kokomo. All right. from up there on that rail. We know we cannot do that. It becomes too much. You can't do it the way you need to do it. We tried that before. It does not work. With that being said, there are other locations that may work better. These kids they will push and push and push to get what they want. And literally I had little kids, holding onto my legs while all this was going on. The girls from Lucifer helped. It was great. Arlene, man, she did a hell of a job. I got to tell you, it's not the biggest thing. Arlene wasn't raised with Halloween, so she doesn't see it the same way I see it. All right. But man, she put forth a hell of an effort. She helped gather up I just can't tell you how much she actually actively helped and put things together. What we've got to do, though, is make changes. So some comments for you, some suggestions. Were you out there? Were you there when this took place? Literally, we got all of this done in 45 minutes. That's how much. And you're talking about hundreds of dollars worth of candy gone that fast. And this is cheap candy. We're not talking about prices like you see in the U.S. for, a bag of M&Ms or something like that. All right. This is not like that. Now, we did have additional candy that we gave out to the girls, the entertainers, to the doormen, to the security, to this, to that. All right. But these kids, it becomes too chaotic. I'm worried that one of them is going to get hurt. There's a lot of everything. I almost feel, and I'm sure I'll get critical response from it, that it may have been a little irresponsible to do it. We had good weather, but there was construction. There was fresh laid concrete out there. Apparently it was dry enough that they walked on it. Okay. I don't know when they laid that concrete. I think they laid it the day before. Because yesterday, Halloween day is actually a holiday here, but it's not Halloween as a holiday. But my points with all of this are simple. Things take place. And in order for us to get past this crush of kids, absolute crush of kids, you can see them coming in, sneaking in, crawling under, crawling around, and you can't blame them. And we don't. We don't blame them for being rude. We don't blame them for not taking turns. We don't blame them for anything. All right. They're kids, and kids will be kids, and they're a product of their environment as well. So with that being said, what are your thoughts? Can we find a way, if you're familiar with Walking Street, can we find a way to do this in a better environment, in a method that allows for us to really take a better approach to it? Or should we skip it completely? Should we not do it? All right. I don't know, but in the comments below, I would certainly appreciate your comments and your thoughts and anything else. Thanks so much. We hope you have an incredibly great day.